Welcome back to Mom's Work. I'm your host, Kristin Weinrich, mom of two, teacher, and someone who knows just how much of motherhood is lived in the in-between moments, the planning, the packing, and the mental tabs that we keep open all day long. Today's episode is one of those big life transition conversations, the kind that stretches you, excites you, and probably absolutely overwhelms you at the same time. My guest today is Amy Benchener. Amy is a marketing professor, nonprofit leadership researcher, and board member, and mother of two who is passionate about faith, family, and raising resilient kids in today's world. Amy and her family are prepping for a major move overseas to England after her husband accepted a new job opportunity. That means a new country, a new home, new schools, new systems, and a whole lot of logistics and emotions in between, as we will hear today. Amy, I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, excited to hear what you have to tell us. And I'd love for you to start by telling us a little bit about your family and what life is kind of looking like right now in the middle of all this, shall we say, chaos, maybe?
Chaos is a great word for it. I have a 14-year-old son who would be going into ninth grade here in America, which is year 10 in England.
Okay.
And an 11-year-old girl who would be going into sixth grade in the States, which is year 7. They do everything 1 year up over there.
Even that is going to be hard to get used to.
Right.
Be like, wait, let me think. What grade are you in?
It feels like we skipped some time somehow.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody got older. Uh-huh.
Exactly. So that's exciting, and they have a lot going on, and they're involved in a lot of sports. And then my husband is commuting back and forth to England because he has started this job as of March. So it's a lot of logistics here on the ground, and our community has been so wonderful and been pitching in with rides and helping out. And I just could not be more grateful. So there's a lot of people with their cars and their schedules and calendars kind of helping keep us all together.
That's
as
great.
We navigate being, part-time dad. So
yes. Wow. And how about you personally? What do you like to do in your free time, hobbies?
Yeah. So working part-time this semester, which has been great when we saw sort of the writing on the wall in terms of the volume of need in this type of logistical coordination. There was no way to do it with 2 full-time working parents at our, love pace. So we had decided to do that. So that's very helpful. So then I filled it all up with a lot of tennis.
Okay. There you go.
So tennis is my, hobby and lifeline.
I'm an outlet right now, probably.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So that's been great. Yes.
Maybe you can get some new tennis partners over there in England.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Exactly. Looking forward to that.
And what would you say motivates you professionally?
So professionally, I have a lot of background in business and marketing and finance accounting. But what I found over the years is that mission-driven organizations really drive and excite me, and have really taken a lot of those concepts and focused on nonprofits primarily. So I teach marketing for nonprofits over at Villanova, and that's really exciting to see how we can bring a lot of structure and, excellence to these organizations that are truly serving underserved communities. So I get very excited about the opportunity to work with nonprofits.
Yeah, it probably feels a little more, I don't know, that close to home is the way to say it, but just more meaningful, maybe more kind of,
yes,
I don't know. Can't think of the word right now. It's late in the afternoon, but
yes,
I'm sure it's an interesting job. And what is your most challenging working mother moment? Maybe it's now, maybe it was several years ago, but
yes, I was trying to think this through because this is a different challenge, but the kids are older and more self-sufficient, which is lovely if I have to be 10 minutes late because I'm driving the other one.
Right.
But my probably most challenging was when I was in sales and traveling all the time with a baby at home.
Oh. Yeah.
And I had a time where my flight landed and I was going to be in and out of Indianapolis in one day and home to watch the baby the next day.
Yeah.
My husband had to travel the next day and there was no room for error. And of course, the second I land in Indy, my flight home was canceled.
Right.
So I had to call the client and say, I can't come present to you anymore. I have to drive to Chicago like a bat out of heck to get on a plane to get home to my kid.
Yeah.
So I spent all day traveling for no presentation.
Just go right back home, right? Yeah. Did you ever get to present to that person or was it just a wash?
Virtually, yes,
Okay, okay.
which was great. So,
Wow.
but yeah, that was a frustrating 24 hours with a lot of
Yes.
panic and stress.
Yes, and can't leave the
Yes.
baby home.
No,
So gotta get
no,
there.
nope.
And what
Yep.
would you say is the biggest compliment someone can give you?
That's a great question. I think that in areas of chaos or disorganization, I like to help bring order and understanding so people feel heard and supported.
Okay, I like
So
that.
when people share that, even if it's running a tennis team or a PTO or whatever that is, I think ability to sort of help find calm in chaos is what I hope to, and what's wonderful to hear from people.
So would you say that you're a very, it sounds like an organized person in terms of your brain, in terms of your house, in terms of like, are you a list kind of person? Like, you can kind of logistically organize things to kind of put them in this order?
Yes, definitely a lot of lists all the time. So yes, definitely the order of things is constantly running through my head, and I wish I could turn it off sometimes.
Right?
So
You walk into a room, you're like, we can
yeah,
organize this. But I
yeah.
bet that's helpful in business too. Like that, can you almost see things like in an organized way or
Yeah, I think, yes, I think everything in terms of tabs, almost like my internet browser, right? There's always different
Mhm.
tabs going on at all the time.
Yeah.
And so, the hope is that I'm also able to be present at all times, which is something I'm working on.
Yeah, yeah, that's hard if you have all those tabs open and you're like, wait, no, I'm here, I'm listening,
Right, right,
Yeah, that's
exactly,
tricky. I always say
exactly.
I'm organized like in my brain, but in my space, I like to be organized, but I'm often not. But I could usually put my hands on something, but I like know what's happening in my head. So I guess that's the most important, but could be a little more organized in my space sometimes. But so maybe I'll have you over. You can
There
walk in
you
my
go.
house and be like, "Oh my goodness, let's organize this." All right, let's talk about our win and our challenge of the week. So something small or big that felt good. Would you like to start with your win or your challenge?
I'll start with the challenge. I
Okay.
think I sort of just spoke to it, but I think working on being present with
Mm.
all of the things going on
Hmm.
and feeling a little bit conflicted with the kids when I'm the only parent, making sure that there's nobody lacking for emotional support at
Yeah.
any one time. So sometimes I don't feel like I'm getting it all done
Yeah.
perfectly or as well as I would like. So that's something that it's definitely been a challenge, but a growth opportunity as well.
But it's hard, like, I'll sit at dinner and I'm thinking of something else and we keep our phones out of the way. But then, like, at what feels like a normal break when I'm moving a dish or something, I'm like, oh, let me just send that text message real quick. And then I'm like, but
Yeah.
I don't want my kids to see it. But you're like, in your head, you're like, but I can't focus until I do that thing so that then I can go back to the table. And you know what I mean? It's hard. Like you
Yes.
said, it's very hard to do that. So
Yes.
yes, room for growth for all of
Hmm.
us, right?
Hmm.
And my win of the week was that this past weekend, though Memorial Day was rainy and miserable, we had the chance to go to the shore. My husband's family has a house in Ventnor, New Jersey, and they were there. His brother and his sister-in-law and our niece, who is almost 30, she lives in New York, and then their son and his wife, who live in California, were there. And then a couple other random, family members were there and a couple of kids for my kids to play with. And even though we were stuck inside the entire time, it was just nice to kind of be there and have no schedule. And the kids ran around and we sat around the table and we were like, what are we doing this weekend? Just eating? It was like one meal went into the next meal, but we got to talk and visit and all of that. So that was, a nice little like summer is coming kind of win for us. So
Oh, good, good. Oh,
yeah.
that's wonderful. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of pivoting East Coasters this weekend with all the
Oh,
weather. Yeah.
yes. Yes, it was. Yeah, we even like when there was like a break in the rain, we're like, let's go for a walk to like get out of the house. And we were, like half a mile from the house. And we're like, and it's raining again. So that was the end of that, but it's okay. And what about your challenge?
So I would say the challenge was
I'm sorry, you
definitely
said
probably
challenge. Tell me
keeping
your
it.
win.
That's
Tell me your
okay.
win.
That's
I went
yeah,
backwards.
that's all good. Yeah. So the win I would say is one of our concerns about the move was getting the kids ingrained in their sports teams over
Mm-hmm.
there in England, and we finally locked in a soccer club for my daughter
Oh,
this
good.
week.
Okay.
So that was the big concern, is their ability to transition. We're so glad to be part of this great
Yeah.
community, and they were able to accommodate with a virtual tryout, which is wonderful. So
who knew, right? I'm like, man, 2026.
yeah.
And do they do it there like they do it here? Like, will her friend, the kids who go to her school necessarily be on the team or not necessarily? Like, is it done by area or?
So this club has some commuters as part of it. So we
Okay.
may have folks from this area, but it's about a 25-minute drive from the house. So it's possible that it'll be lighter from our area. So
Okay. Okay. Well, then you
yeah,
can spread out even more and get to know more people in England, right?
exactly.
Further reach of friends.
Exactly. Yes.
And my challenge this week, oh my goodness. So we came back from the shore the other day, and of course, yesterday we're doing like all the get ready for the week things. And we need the bottom of our house painted because we moved in 10 years ago and we have color on the wall. But fun fact, it's actually primer. It's the same
Oh,
color of the paint. We just never really got to it. So my husband was like, we need to like, this is ridiculous. We need to get our house painted. So at like 6:30 last night, he was like, do you want the good news or the bad news? And of course, it was all the same news that the painter could come at 8 o'clock this morning. I was like, so that's great news, except we need to like clean the entire bottom floor of
yeah.
the house. And so there it was, and we made quick work of that. Lots of things in boxes in our basement, but we finally went to bed and got the kids to sleep, and we were sitting in our bed at like 9:30, and all of a sudden I heard like a crack and a bang and a crash. And very calmly I looked at my husband and I was like, "What do you think that was?" And it was in fact a tree from our neighbor's yard falling on the shed in our backyard. And yeah, so I was
Oh
like, just
gosh.
add it on top of the list of like all the insanity that's happening at this time of year. So my husband was like, silver lining, I've been wanting a new shed for a long time. So new shed, new paint on the walls. We'll get there, right?
My
It's
goodness.
fine. It's all fine.
We're rolling
Um,
with it as parents, right? We're
right?
rolling with it.
I
Yep.
was like, well, everybody was out in the backyard yesterday and nobody got hurt. So I was like, well, it didn't come anywhere near our house. So like all good things, but oh goodness gracious. I was like,
Gosh.
just like one thing on top of another. So
After your
anyway,
relaxing weekend, right? Then the
yeah, so I was
shed.
like,
Yeah.
and we're back. Okay. I was like really putting an exclamation point here on the end of May. So there
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to the conversation about you actually moving. And I'm really interested in this. Like, I have traveled a lot in the United States, but I've really only been to Ireland and Canada, I think, outside of the country. And I spent one night in England when I was coming back from Ireland because I kind of did it the like cheap way and flew to England first and then to Ireland. And long story short, spent one night where I had missed my flight back to the United States in England, but did not see anything. But I'd love to go to England, so I'll live vicariously through you telling me about living in England. So tell us, first of all, when did this opportunity sort of start? When did you start hearing about it? When did your husband mention it to you? If this is
So
May and you're moving in June, correct?
now it's July. We had a
July.
little bit
Okay.
of a delay. So this is one of the things about international moves is we have found that Americans, and this is a generalization, but what we found to be true, are more time conscious and more
Oh,
deadline oriented.
okay.
And so we're learning about flexibility with deadlines and
Okay.
deliverables.
Okay. Well, it gives you more time on this end, right? It's kind of like island
Yes.
time, England time. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So we're that's a growth opportunity for me as these
Another one.
dates just keep pushing back. So July, yes, so we'll be here through then, which is great. So he about a year ago, he started
Oh,
having conversations. A recruiter had reached out to sort of feel out interest on this. And, over the years, a couple folks have reached out over, and I used to get nervous and anxious, and then realize most of these haven't panned out. So there's no
hmm.
reason to borrow worry until it's here.
Yes.
Well, it was
Here it
then
is.
here, yeah.
Yes, here it is.
So he flew over in the fall of last year to do sort of a sprint round of interviews and came back and felt great about it, really loved the company and the people.
Okay.
And then from there, sort of, I still was not favorable about going.
Hmm.
And we have a kid going into high school. There's some hard,
A
hard
lot.
pieces. So, as he kept negotiating and working through some of these pieces that were hiccups for me personally in the transition, the company kept offering things that were more and more accommodating to help
Oh,
offset
interesting.
things like we go to public school here, so I don't pay tuition
Right.
because our public schools are fantastic here. The private schools align better over there. And so
Okay.
that will be a new piece that we don't,
Okay.
a new bill. So they were willing to offset things like that. So
Okay.
those types of accommodations really helped make it more palatable and sort
Hmm.
of take away my objections sort of piece by piece.
They were like, what are you objecting? We will
Yeah.
remove that.
Yeah.
Let this lady
Yeah.
have nothing she can say
Yeah.
no to. What else can we do for you?
Yes, yes. And I think when they had said they would pay for American healthcare for our family to keep
Oh,
running,
oh, wow.
that
Okay.
was, we just couldn't turn that down. I think that was my last big concern
And that
is
works.
just
Like they'll take the American health insurance over there.
over there. So when we can come
Wow.
back once a year, the quarterly or whatever for specialist appointments, our daughter, which is known, had open heart surgery at
Hmm.
age 2. And so that's one I just really prefer she stay with her group for
Right.
care.
Right.
And so when they were willing to make that type of accommodation, I just thought, gosh, I have no more excuses. And this
Yeah.
sounds kind of fun and
They
exciting.
are
So
taking everything off my list. Now, to back up just a little bit, was this something that like you had talked about as a couple, or your husband had always kind of been like, gosh, I'd love to move to another country, or just kind of as the companies came to him to talk to him, it kind of came on his radar. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, no, that's a great question. So we both grew up on the West Coast in the
Okay.
US. So
Okay.
moving, and I've moved several times when I was a kid. And so moving was always part of our plan as a family,
Okay.
but not necessarily outside of the US.
Not, yeah.
So
Okay.
so I fully thought we might end up in Texas. So he had an Idaho opportunity at one point.
Okay.
But not yet. This was new.
This was a big one. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay. Always an adventure, right? And
Yes.
what was your, I mean, you kind of told us your initial reaction was like, no, we're good, thanks. But after you
Yes.
thought about it a little, what, like, did it take a couple interviews or a couple phone calls from the company? Like, when did you kind of start thinking, okay, maybe this would be interesting?
I feel like it was hard. It was Thanksgiving of last year, which is obviously only American holiday. And,
Right.
and to think about being elsewhere for something with tradition and, patriotism the holiday is rooted in was
Right.
hard. But then I started getting excited about some of the opportunities there because we've always loved travel as a family.
Yeah.
And then, the fact that I moved from California at 14 and so did my husband to Pennsylvania
Right.
and life was, I think we had better opportunities
You turned out
because
okay, right?
we we're
Everything's
here.
fine. Here you are.
Everything went great. So I think that was probably the time frame where it really sort of started to click and we started to get alignment on that.
Okay.
And truly I'm very excited for his career opportunity. So it's
Hmm.
hard not to get excited when you have a partner that you believe in so much.
Right.
So
And I'm not doing it or packing my house. So it's kind of like when you're dating someone or getting married and everybody's like, that's so fun. You're like, it's not when you're in the middle of it or buying a house or whatever. But to me, I'm like, what a cool opportunity. You get to go live in Europe. I don't want to do it, but I think it sounds really exciting for you. Like when somebody says it to you, you're like, oh, wow. Or if you know somebody who's a grown up and they're like, oh, well, I lived in Germany when I was a teenager or whatever, you're like, what an amazing life experience to have. And so me
yes.
watching you do it, what an amazing life experience for you to have. But
Thank you.
and what were your kids, what was your kids' kind of reaction?
So what's
Did they know about it
interesting,
sort of from the beginning, or did you hold off on telling them until you had decided?
they did not know because in our community where we live, a lot of the people work at the company my husband came from. And
Okay.
so would not believe the friends that are colleagues at work, the kids' friends that are colleagues at work.
Hmm.
And so we had to keep it low key until we were ready to tell work. So that was a tricky time frame. So, the
Sure.
kids kept, why are we purging so much stuff from our house? That,
Like, oh, why do you have four
I don't
dumpsters
know.
outside? I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
sounds
cleaning.
fun. Yeah.
Just cleaning right now. And then, oh
So
God.
I was going to say, so eventually, they knew that he had gone to England for work, but we
Okay.
didn't really say what. And they knew eventually in December that he was open to an opportunity. And so we brought them down for a family meeting,
Okay.
which we've basically only had two. It's always, around really serious things. So Addie, our daughter, had said, I know, we sit down and Addie goes, oh, Dad got a new job. We're moving. She figured
Whoa.
it out.
You're like, wow,
Yeah.
okay.
And
All
so we had
right.
to back the train up on the news sharing and share it, the way
Yeah.
that we had hoped. And it's a little bit more process around it. And they were pretty favorable. And I think what helped was unbeknownst to us, we had decided to go to England for spring break the year
Oh,
prior.
oh, how funny. Okay.
Yeah.
It was
So,
like
and
serendipity.
yes, and
Nice.
Ireland, and they just loved it. So I think that really helped. So,
And
yeah.
had you been to England before? Like, have you spent much time in England, London at all, or?
Yeah, we have gone several times as a couple, and then I did an internship in Paris in
Oh,
college,
okay.
and then we had a satellite office in London, so I was kind of back and forth
Okay.
for that. So,
So you have a little tiny
yeah,
bit of familiarity with it.
yeah,
And the
yeah,
nice thing is that there's not a new language or a language barrier. Like it's kind of like this great experience, and you don't have the hurdle of language as well, I guess, helpful for all of you.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and we're learning all the nuances of phrasing and things like that
Oh, right. Like
as well. So, a lot of cultural
a
pieces.
lot of some
Yeah.
slang that you'll have to pick up, right? Maybe you can bring some
Yes.
over. Like, do they know? I don't know. Whatever I'm going to say is going to be outdated, but maybe your kids can teach the English kids some new American slang. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Um, and I think a lot of people hear like we're moving to another country, and like I was saying, I think it sounds so exciting. But as when you and I were talking about even this episode, and you were saying there has been so much, and I guess you think like, oh yeah, you have to sell your house, but as you're going to share with us, it's like a full-time job to get everything figured
Yes.
out. So tell us, what is it that we don't know about moving internationally?
Oh, goodness. Well, I will say, first of all, anyone that we've met that's had the opportunity would do it again in a heartbeat. So I will
Okay.
start and preface it with everybody seems to love it. So don't
Okay.
let this detract you
Yeah.
from taking the opportunity. Um,
Just to
so,
know that it's going to be tough at first, but moving anywhere
yes.
is tough. So,
Yes. Yes. So that was a piece. There was a whole visa application piece that
okay.
required, gosh, every piece of documentation down to, I mean, documents that I had to go ask my mom for. So,
Oh, wow.
and proof of trips and where we've been, and so trying to
Oh,
recall
even that
exact
kind of
dates.
stuff.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
for the past 10 years of, when did we leave Costa Rica in 2016? So
Wow. Wow. Okay.
so that was a big piece. And thankfully we had an immigration lawyer assisting, because I do see why folks get hung up in the process. It was very complicated.
Okay. And the
So
visa
that
is
was
for the
piece.
company that he's working for, correct? Like that's who he's
Correct.
with. Okay.
Correct. Yes. Yes. So he has a skilled worker visa, I believe. And then my piece of the visa allows me to work, which is great, in all
Oh,
capacities except as a paid professional athlete.
well, then you'll just have to drop that. No tennis for you. Okay, just for fun. If
So that was
Serena
the
and Venus want to play you, you'll have to say, I'm really sorry. We'll have to go back to American soil. It's funny. Okay.
Isn't that funny? So
Yeah.
that piece was huge, I
Okay, so you
would
had to take
say.
that one. Okay, no
Yeah.
professional. Okay, got it. That's
the
hilarious.
end of the end of my 40 plus tennis, empire. It's not
Right.
happening.
No more
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated covers for you.
So that was, visas were a big piece, and grateful for the guidance of the process. I would say that one of the other huge pieces was the schools, which I
Mm,
know we'll talk about more, but
yeah.
getting the kids prepped for assessments and
Okay.
finding the differences in schools and things like that. So that was at least 3 months of my focus.
Wow. Okay.
Um, so that was a big piece. And then the real estate pieces have been significantly different than how we handle them in the United
Okay.
States. So, for example, the hugest thing I think is you do not get a buyer's realtor over there. So you represent yourself
Oh,
plus,
okay.
and you get a lawyer, but you're hiring all of these folks and making sure everything's happening.
Okay. Whereas a realtor would kind of do all of those pieces for you. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
There's
So
been a
that's how
lot
you
of,
buy. You have to hire a realtor.
you
I
have to
mean,
hire
hire
a
a
lawyer.
lawyer.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
And they don't do everything. And there's a lot of times where I get an email that'll say, hey, should I order the searches from the lawyer? And I don't know what the searches are. So I would say,
Yeah.
sure, go ahead, and then
Yeah, sounds good.
seems great. So we're learning a lot on that side and different tax structures that penalize foreign buyers and things like that. So,
wow. Again, lots of learning happening here.
Yes.
Lots of room for growth. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And how are you managing? You've spoken a little bit to this, but how are you managing like life while also doing all of this? Your regular life,
regular
your American life, we'll say.
So, gosh, managing is an interesting word. I would say, trying to paddle along and stay afloat would be another way to describe it.
Yes.
Sometimes the current is taking us backwards.
Yes. Quicksand, don't kick. We go down harder.
So I think lots of lists, and gosh, my notes app in my phone is full of lists.
I'm sure.
For this.
Can imagine. Do you have those like 3 a.m. thoughts where you wake up and you're like, yes. I have to. Then you type something. You're like, I have no idea what this is supposed to say, but okay.
Yes, exactly. I'll wake up and think, gosh, we can't put all of our towels on the shipping boat because we'll still be in the US and we need to use a towel.
Yeah.
So
yes, so many things. When does the stuff get shipped? All of your stuff?
So it's leaving July 6th.
Okay. And when are you supposed to leave?
We are right now.
Supposedly.
This is funny that right now we're planning August 10th, but I may go over and meet the ship earlier to get things loaded into the house. It depends on, apparently the war is impacting the length of time for carrier ships.
Okay. That makes sense.
So we're being flexible again on that.
So you're kind of planning on like a month-long vacation of what would we need?
Yes. In our house, and with card tables and
in things. One of my last episodes, I talked about how I'm an overpacker, so this would cause me lots of. I'd be like, but what if I need my wedding album in those 6 weeks? What if I need my baby's outfit that they came home from the hospital? I mean, that's tough to like.
Yes.
Especially if it keeps getting pushed back and all your stuff is in the middle of the ocean. Look at me, causing you more concern. Moving on. Okay. Sorry.
These are the thoughts of 3
I'll think about it for you, and then I'll send you a list. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about this?
Thank
you. Anytime, no problem. And tell us about finding a house in England and how you went there, correct? To look at houses. Okay. So did you find some online first, or what did you do?
So one of the things I would recommend that folks do if they're going to accept an international position is go there first, which I did not do.
Okay. Okay. You're like, seems great.
So wish we had, and that town is beautiful, but I think it's a little bit further outside of London than I expected it to be. So a little more rural. Okay. And so that was sort of a new realization when we got there that, I could have planned my expectations better had I seen it. Okay. So we're really excited about it. It's beautiful. But so that was a piece of it. We did a lot of research online and kept sending a realtor that was assigned to us to take us around some ideas of and specs for houses. So one of the funny things that we need that the houses are not set for there is our son is an Olympic weightlifter.
I did not know that. Okay.
He is. So that's his hobby. He's really strong and he's gone to nationals a couple times. So we need pretty substantial weightlifting capacity in our house.
Okay. That's like a new one for the realtor. Like, let's see. Yes. Have you done this before?
Right. So the risk is cracking a foundation without the ability to pad it. So
interesting. And do they have aren't their houses more simple? Like, do they have basements and like they're smaller and more simple than us over here?
Yes. So that was one of the issues too, is we had thought, well, we could put the gym in the garage, but it turns out they don't really have garages there on the regular. So, very rare actually. So that's one thing that's different. Closets are very different.
Okay. Very small.
They don't have them.
Okay.
They don't
don't exist.
Yes.
Okay.
So those kinds of things made it more difficult. So ultimately the house that we are buying, I found online myself.
Okay.
And we went in and toured and fell in love with it. It's an old historic home, I think 200 years old. And it was part of how they had turned it into apartments at one point and then turned it back into a bank. And now it's going back into being a personal residence. So
Wow.
we're
Okay.
excited about it.
So lots of
Yeah.
history and lots of weight
Yes.
holding. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
It can hold a lot of weight. That's great.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
interesting. And the time I was saying I have been to Ireland, and I remember I was in somebody's house and I was like, in that particular house, so I don't want to say like in Europe, but I believe I have heard that in general, people in other countries don't have as much stuff. Like the house is just very
Yes.
stark. Like they needed 6 plates, they had 6 plates. They didn't have 12, they just had kind of what they needed. They didn't have a lot of accessories and a lot of decorations. Is that kind of the same in England, would you say?
Yeah, I would say there's slightly more because I've been to Ireland as well. There's slightly more decor in general than
Okay.
I saw in Ireland, I would say. But yes, more simply oriented because there's no storage. You have to be thoughtful about your
Right.
space.
Right.
So,
Hence why you
um,
were purging so many things.
yes,
Right? Yes, getting rid
yes.
of all of the things. And you kind of talked about the differences between housing in the US. And are they like they are smaller rooms, fewer bathrooms? Like what would you say in general you're finding?
So coming from LA, where everything is an open concept home,
Yes.
and brand new,
Yes.
this is
Giant. Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
this is a big difference. So yeah, a lot of the floor plans were made before people thought about that
Hmm.
you don't want your guests walking through your bedroom to get
Oh,
to other
right.
rooms.
Okay. Yes, those kinds of things. Hmm.
Yes, less hallways, less sort of thoughtful navigation, but really beautiful. Gosh, we have some historic stained glass in our dining
Oh,
room that
wow.
we're purchasing that is quite old and just so beautiful. So there's those elements as well.
Character, as they say on House
Yes.
Hunters, right? I'm
Yes.
picturing you living in the house from, the movie The Holiday.
Yes.
Maybe that's where I'm picturing you in like an English cottage out in the country. So that's just where you'll be in my mind. How about that?
I love that. I love that. That's great. I would love that house. It's beautiful.
And okay, so let's talk about school because you've mentioned that that's kind of like a scene in and of itself. So
Hmm.
you said it was a 3 sort of month process to look
Yes.
into, to pick, to whatever. Why don't you explain that to us?
So what we learned, thankfully, the company had given us a moving sort of relo consultant, and they had found a company that helps folks with applications to schools.
Okay.
Um, Through that process, we learned that the schools and things like that would be quite different
Okay.
than what we were used to here. And so they suggested some tutoring for my kids before we did the assessments for
Interesting.
schools.
Okay.
So the sort of two frames of thought for schools over there. So there are public schools, and those they actually call private schools because
Okay.
you are capitated to your region, right?
Okay.
So if you live, in a certain neighborhood here in the States, you go to a certain elementary
Right.
school.
Right.
And so you're not able to select elsewhere because that's
Okay.
your district zoning. So they
Okay.
call those private schools.
Interesting. Another brain twist, just like the years, right? Like you
Yes,
really have to
yes.
like think before you speak about school over there. Be like, wait.
Right. Yes, exactly. And then your private schools they call public schools because they're open to the public to come and pay
Anybody can
tuition
come.
to
That's
go
so
there.
interesting. Okay. Look at
Yes.
you. Welcome.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You are welcome to
So
do that.
that was a difference. And we also took a look at, gosh, because our son will be trying to apply American University through his time there.
Right.
And so we wanted a school that would have support for and had sent kids to the States
Okay. That
to
makes
go
sense.
to college.
Okay.
And we didn't find that our public schools, their private schools, had as much experience sending kids back to the
Got
States
it. Okay.
necessarily.
Okay.
So thus the decision to go to what we would call a private school.
And are there a lot, just happenstance, are there many people in the school who are American? Like I know some people who move internationally will go to quote unquote an American school, or
Yes.
is yours more of just kids from England and then you just happen to be there?
So if we were in London, there are several great American schools, but since
Okay.
we are not in London,
You're
the
just stuck on
closest
regular.
we could get was an international school with a few
Okay.
Americans in it.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Good
yes.
enough, right? We'll take
Yeah.
it. But they are
So
familiar with the college process. And
exactly,
that's so
exactly.
interesting. Like he's in eighth grade right now, and you had to even be thinking about that.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to ensure that he was set up and not going to be behind things like, gosh, SAT prep, right? Because
Right.
he's going to be they will be supportive of his study process, even if it means that he, takes one less class in that
Okay.
era of
And will
high
he
school.
take it there or will he have to fly back here to take the SATs? Like that,
That
even
is
those kinds of things.
right.
Yeah.
So thankfully, lots of breaks over there, so lots of time to be able to fly back if need
You're
for
just gonna be
taking the
flying back and
test.
forth across that ocean, right?
Yeah.
Doctor's appointments, SATs. You're like, and we're back.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And there, will they be at the same school?
They will be, yes.
Okay.
So it's similar to, there's a big private school in our area that goes from kindergarten up through 12th grade. It's very
Hmm.
similar in that it offers all of those, which is great. And then I would say another big difference. So about 50% of the school is boarders.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So from different countries, and their parents maybe are in the military and wanted to
Got it.
keep continuity for their kids, or
Okay.
work internationally. So we'll have that piece, and as a result of that, there's a lot more we found in all British education that the clubs and these sports teams are part of the school day.
Okay. Oh, so there's not like practice after school.
Generally not, unless you're
Okay.
on some sort of club
Okay.
team elsewhere. So they'll come home. It's a long day, 8 to 5, but
Oh,
then
wow.
they're home for the
Okay.
night.
And everything's finished. And
Yes.
it's are the sports practices at the end of the day like they would be here, or is it like mixed
Yes.
into the day? Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
which is
interesting.
great. So it's exciting. So they call it pastoral care over there, where they really just kind of step in, especially as mom and dad, for some of these kids that especially are international and their mom and
Mm-hmm.
dads aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really helping out with that piece. There's tutoring as part of some of the time and things like that. So
Oh, wow.
I've been blown away at all that the education system does for the kids over there.
Yeah, that sounds like a
Yeah.
lot. And how many kids will
Mhm.
be in like a grade over there?
So
Hundreds or not many?
so can compared to our large public school district that we're in now, it feels small, but it's
Okay.
about 100 per grade.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that does feel very
Yes.
small. That's
Yes.
nice.
Which is sort of one of the bigger schools in the area, though, ironically, which is
Wow,
funny.
that's interesting. Yeah, that'll be a big change for your kids too. Just that, that
Yes.
smaller feeling. That'll be interesting.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
what are your biggest hopes for your kids in this whole transition experience?
Yeah, I think we're excited about their opportunities to grow and experience different things.
Hmm.
Gosh, for example, we feel like terrible parents, but we are not good skiers. So they
Okay.
never learn to ski.
Yeah.
Well, school will take them to teach them in the
Oh.
Alps.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
In the Alps, you're like, we were
Yeah.
just waiting
Yeah.
until we could take you to the
Yes.
Alps. That's why we
Yes.
didn't teach you. See, it actually makes you look like a superstar. Wow. Okay.
So those kinds of things will be we're excited for their opportunity. And I think
Yeah.
as a professor, I can tell when a student has lived abroad.
Interesting.
Um, I
Okay.
find them to be more, well read, well spoken, just very attentive and very comfortable with adults and speaking with adults.
That's really interesting. Okay.
So I hope to have that be developed in my kids as well.
Right? Say you're coming back well-rounded. And do you plan, I mean, I'm sure you do, to travel a lot through Europe when you're there? Because I mean, that experience in and of itself too, like the opportunity to be able to just like hop over to Paris for the weekend or, like
Yeah,
that's really
yeah.
special too.
Absolutely. We're already planning a trip to Norway and Sweden to do some of
Wow.
the fjords, and
Okay.
in August when we get there. And the kids, they are on a trimester schedule now. So
Okay.
there's a month off at the end of every trimester.
Oh, okay.
So we will have lots of time to
That's kind
go.
of nice though too, like because then it's not all like, summer's 9 or 10 weeks, but like a month is like,
Right.
just enough time to jump over to the fjords.
Right.
Have a
Right.
little time in the English countryside and then, that's really great
Right.
though. And it's supposed to be so easy to travel from country to country over there. So
Yes. And quite cheap, which is
pop over
lovely.
to Italy for a week or something.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great.
Exactly.
And what would you say is your biggest concern for them?
The biggest concern being, the social integration. I think
Mm-hmm.
that they both have a wonderful circle of friends here that we love.
Yeah.
And so just ensuring that it went well. I was comforted. They did what's called a taster day at the school
Oh,
where they
cute.
went to, yeah,
Taster.
went
So
to try
English,
it.
isn't
Isn't
it?
it?
Yes.
Yes. And they came back, and gosh, my son had to wear a tie and nice shoes. And I thought,
Oh,
oh no.
mhm.
Um, but they loved it. So I think that
That's so
that will really
fun.
help because they have already made some friends over there, which
Oh,
is
great.
wonderful.
And they'll be like
Yeah.
the new exciting things because they'll be the new Americans, you know? Everybody will want to like talk to them and get to know them. And so
Hopefully, hopefully.
sure. I have a student who I taught, 7 or 8 years ago, who actually her father worked for the same company that your husband used to work for. So they moved from England to here for 2 or 3 years. And I've stayed in touch with her mom on Instagram. And every time she posts, I'm like, this is so English. Like the little girl, well, she's a senior now, but she has like a blazer on and the son has a tie. And she's like, I thought of you when I posted this because I'm like, everything about this is so English and I love it, and
Yes.
it is a
Yes.
very like it's very like Harry Potter kind of feeling, and they just look so
Yes.
like adorable for school and whatever they call it, year 10 and year this. And I'm like, I love everything about this every time she posts. So that'll be you next. I'll be like, oh, it's so English. Keep posting.
Oh,
Love the uniform. Love the uniform.
it's a beautiful
And
country.
what are your kids? I know you said they were pretty open to it, pretty excited. How are they feeling now that we're getting closer?
Yeah, I think as the house starts to empty out, it feels a little
Mm,
bit more real because we're,
yeah.
slowly to friends, hey, do you want this table? And things like that.
We have
So,
this couch. Are you
yeah,
interested?
just literally anything. Come get it.
Come take it.
So I think that is helping it feel more real at the end of the school year and saying goodbye to. We just said goodbye to our soccer team this
Oh.
weekend and things like that. So that's both sad, but and they're also excited about
Yeah.
decorating their new room and those
Hmm.
kinds of things. So kind of mixed.
And it's hard too because you have like a draw, like you're saying July, August, like it's only May right now. So you're like, probably by
Right.
the time you go, you'll be like, oh my gosh, we just have to like cut it and go, because it'll feel
Yes.
after a while like we've said goodbye 27 times and every time it's, tough, but at least they'll have that
Yes.
excitement on the other side. So that's good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we're excited. And they picked out their beds this weekend for the new house and things like that. So one thing I learned is mattress sizes are different over there. So
Oh my
somebody said, buy your
gosh.
mattresses here.
You're just
Yeah.
so are you leaving most like are you getting rid of most of your furniture here except for like I don't know, sentimental pieces or something, or are you taking a lot with you?
We are keeping probably 80% of
Okay.
everything, but we have to give away almost all of our electronics because they're not going to
Oh,
adapt
all
and
these
convert
things
very
you don't even
well.
think of. Okay. Okay. Makes
Hmm.
sense. Okay.
So, like a blender and TVs and your plug in Christmas tree, those kinds of
Yeah.
things.
So
Yeah.
you really I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't even think about all that stuff.
Right. Right.
Wow. Okay. And how
Yeah.
about you? How are you feeling in this? I mean, other than overwhelmed, how do
Yeah.
you feel? And are you kind of at that same mixed emotion, kind of excited, but
Yeah. I think mixed is a good word. I think that there are days that I'm super excited. I'm tired of looking at a blank wall,
right,
and
right.
there are days that I think, gosh, it's the last time I'm going to grill and my hydrangeas will be blooming,
Oh,
and so
I'll be like, okay, yeah.
so and Memorial Day we were kind of a little bit emotional during that, but then there's things like, gosh, I don't know if you heard, but the Eagles are playing in London this year.
I think my son did mention that, yes. And I think he was like, so could we go? And my husband was like,
Yeah.
you're cute. No, we
Yeah.
can watch it on TV if it's on TV, but no. But you can go.
We're going. You
You
could
will
come and
go.
stay with us and we
There
could
you
all
go.
go.
I'll send
Yeah.
maybe I'll send my 9-year-old over. I'll say the
Yeah.
Benchers will be waiting for you on the other side. But you're right. Yeah, that's fun too. And like you said, eventually you're planning to be back. So it's not like it's
Yes.
the end, but for the foreseeable future it is. And your kids will be older and
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, listen to me. I'm getting sad for you. Okay.
Oh.
And how are you doing like your goodbyes? Like are you, just kind of as they come or do you plan to have like because are your family still on the West Coast?
So some of
With
them
all of
are
that.
Matt's parents are my husband's parents are local,
Okay.
and my mom is in South Carolina. So
Oh, so they're not there anymore. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, they've scattered as well. So yeah, I think they are bummed because they're getting, mobility is more challenging to fly
Right.
with.
Right.
So, but we'll be back again these months off,
Right. Right. You can
So
come back. Yeah. Do they plan to come over, or you think mostly you'll see them here because of
kind
the
of a
mobility
mix.
issues? Yeah.
I think a mix. Yeah, with that going on. So actually one of the benefits of having a house that was a bank is we have an elevator in it.
Oh,
So
so there
a
you go. Once they
lift.
get there, once they
Yeah.
get themselves across the ocean, moving in your
Yes.
house will be no
We're
problem.
all set. Yeah.
That's really funny.
So once
Just
they
get
get there.
yourself on that airplane and come the 3,000 miles, and then you'll be fine.
Yes, that's the easy part's taken care of once you get to the house. So
Right, right.
they're sweet and supportive, and they understand because they both did the move from the West Coast to the East Coast
Right.
with kids the same ages.
It's
So
kind of interesting that your history is like repeat, you're sort of following
yes.
the same pattern that you both did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that helps again feel better because we know we survived and we wouldn't have met otherwise as,
Right.
a couple.
It's all the way it was supposed to be. And how
Yes.
about your like the the school friends? Are we gonna say goodbye on the last day, or are we then gonna have like I just keep picturing, like, for me, I'd be like, we just have to say goodbye. Like, we can't
Yeah.
keep doing this. You know what I mean? Like, let's do this party and this say goodbye to this person. You'd be like, let's just say goodbye and go like an hour south so nobody can find us,
Yeah.
like eventually you'd have to feel like, enough with the goodbyes. We just have to go. Like, how will you, do you have a plan for that? Like, is there going to be like one final farewell, or just kind of
Yeah.
as you see people, like, see ya?
Yeah, I think we have a couple little mini farewells as the school year wraps up, which is
Okay.
nice. So tennis one for my girlfriends and,
You were
a
saying the soccer
basketball
team.
team. Yeah,
Yeah.
soccer team had one. So yeah, so kind of little ones. It's funny. My husband's tendency would be to Irish goodbye because it's
Yeah.
just too hard.
Yeah. I mean, part of me is thinking that, like, just like kind of
Yeah.
say goodbye and then just go,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But it's funny. I
We'll
didn't
call it the
tell
English
anyone.
exit instead this time.
That's right. The English accent. I didn't tell anyone for a long time we were going because it was too sad to talk about. So I finally
Yeah.
started hearing from people who had heard from work,
Okay.
the prior office, and that, oh, you're moving. You didn't tell us. And I said, I just wanted to
Yeah.
live life as it is as long
Yeah.
as I could. So
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, that's a
yeah,
hard,
yeah,
yeah, and it's hard to keep talking about too. Like, everywhere you go, probably you're running into people like, and you have to like sort of relive it and have the conversation again. And then
right,
people invite you on
exactly.
podcasts and you have to talk about it for over an hour. I mean, that's the worst. Now you're like, when people say goodbye, be like, listen to the podcast, and that's our goodbye. I'll answer all your questions and just listen to it. And you said tennis, but how else are you taking care of yourself? Do you have time to do anything for yourself in the middle of this huge transition?
So what's funny is because my husband has to stay on British time, Greenwich
Yes.
time,
Okay.
he has to go to bed so early to be up for 6 a.m.
Oh my
meetings
gosh.
to
Okay.
our clock. So
Okay.
I have a lot of great TV time
Okay.
at
That's good.
night.
Yes. Isn't it weird though? You're like, he's in the house, but it's like he's not here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We're kind of, different schedules completely. But yeah, so I would say, one of the things in stress that I've learned about myself is I really need to keep positive
Okay.
influences and sort
Okay.
of lock that down. So gosh, I hate to say it, but the Hallmark Channel has reappeared.
I mean, it's so easy, right? Now, see, your life could be a Hallmark movie right now. I feel like we're moving
There you
to
go.
England and there'd be some like adorable thing happening. And so just think of it that way. And is
There you go.
the TV the same over there? Or like, do they get a lot of American shows, or like all the ones that are really popular right now, or no? Like, are you also saying goodbye to your television shows?
So
Like another
thankfully
one.
with streaming, a lot of things are crossover.
Okay.
So
Oh,
thankfully
right.
it's a lot easier than it used to be. But yeah, there will be some differences in, streaming rights and things like that on some shows, which I would prefer not to think about when I'm,
Right.
between shows.
Well, when you're here, visiting during those months off, you'll just have to like find yourself a hotel and be like, I need like 8 hours because I
Yeah.
need to catch up. I just need 8 hours of quiet so I can find out what's going on. That's
Yes.
so funny.
Yes. I
And
love
before
that
we
plan.
get into the kind of positive things, is there anything that I left out that you think is important for people to understand or know, or people who are considering doing this? Any of the logistically kind of
Yeah.
things?
So logistic, and I would also just say, and I remember this advice when we had our first baby and we're terrified to take him home. kids are hardier than we
Yes,
often give them credit for.
that's very true.
So I'm finding that with my kids that they've just taken this in stride. They're excited, they're ready to go. And I think, and that was my biggest deterrent for
Hmm,
moving.
hmm, hmm.
And so I'm grateful that we took the leap of faith. And I would say, don't hold yourself back for your kids' sake, because they will probably surprise you
Right. And be
with how,
resilient.
resilient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great one.
Yeah.
So do it. And
Yeah.
they are like a great age for this. It's not like they're three
Yeah.
and five and like they'll remember this, or they'll
Yeah.
end up living in Europe for the rest of their lives. And you'll be like, rats. No, what
That's
were we
that's
thinking?
the risk.
Or
They're
you'll
not
all be
allowed.
in Europe for the
Yeah.
rest of your lives. And we'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, it was nice when they lived here. It's such an amazing adventure. All right. So speaking of adventure, kind of your adventure questions. What are you most excited about when you picture yourself living in England?
Oh gosh. I think just the ability to see parts of Europe that, a local launching point
Hmm.
that we wouldn't have gotten to. Gosh, we have where our relatives have come from, and gosh, we have
Hmm.
a very small and ugly, I wouldn't even call it a castle, that's in my family
Oh,
lineage.
that's amazing.
It is. I'll have to send you a picture. It is
Yes.
quite humble. But
I
I'd
mean,
love to
no
see it.
castle is that ugly, right? If it's a
Yeah.
castle, you're like, there's a little beauty in that.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
But would love to see that kind of family heritage
Yes.
opportunity as well. So,
Yes, I mean, that is amazing to just be able to, hop here, hop there all over Europe. That's fun.
yeah,
And what
yeah.
do you hope that your family gains from this experience?
I think the closeness of family is something that we have, but I'm excited to grow in. And
Mm-hmm.
so the ability to rely on each other. I think having a boy and a girl, I don't know, because I've never had both boys or both girls.
Right.
Sometimes they are less reliant or accommodating towards each other
I could
as
see that.
maybe
Yep.
they could be.
Mm-hmm.
And so would love to see more of them sort of working together in the new school and things like
Right.
that. So
Because
I
it'll
hope
kind
for
of
that.
just be the four of you, right? I mean,
Yeah.
unless
Yeah.
people come to visit or once you get to know people, but when you get off that plane in August, it's the four of you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking
Wow.
forward to more closeness as a family,
Yeah.
especially as I see the clock ticking down with my son leaving for college in 4 years. And now I feel like I'm gripping
And now you
time.
kind of have them to yourself for a little while. You're like, good, we'll move to
Yes.
a different continent. And then you
Yeah.
have to be with me, with mommy all the time. I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go make some friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And what about the traditions, places, and experiences? Probably. I feel like this is a little redundant, but what are you excited to, they have so many different holidays and
Yeah.
cultural things and all that in Europe that you'll get to experience.
Yeah. Definitely looking forward to European Christmases. There's
Oh, little
beautiful.
market, right? Christmas
Yeah.
markets.
Yes. So that will be great. There's a lot of other, gosh, Boxing Day, I just learned, is not so much about boxing as the sport. It's more about, it was started because families that were wealthy wanted to give away their used items after Christmas that
Oh,
they no longer needed. And so it was a day of
okay.
generosity.
Oh, that's really nice.
So,
Don't think I knew that either. I was just like, I don't know, not something we do here. Okay.
so looking forward to that opportunity,
Yeah, and who did they give it to? Like charities or
it's
anybody or
charities or folks that worked for them or folks that were less privileged. So
okay.
that was I love the idea of taking our gifts and then being sure that we're being generous with what we have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really nice. And I'm just picturing
Yeah.
you like you get to live in England. Like
Yes.
that's just
Yes.
you get to live in it when it's all said and done. London is your city, that's
Yes,
really cool. You
exactly.
just get to go
Yeah.
shopping at like Harrah's and go to
Yeah.
I know what is their not Broadway, but what is their don't they have wonderful theater in London? And I think,
Yes.
like all of the shows come and you'll be like, should we go to London for the afternoon? I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
We're excited about an hour train ride. So it's going to be hard to stay away.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then to all those other places. All right. Well, I think that this was probably very helpful to people who are either, going to live vicariously through you in their brains or people who are maybe actually considering a move to another country. So thank you for sharing all of that so honestly and as succinctly as you can, because I'm sure we barely scratched the surface on what you've actually had to do. But I think you gave us a good idea of a little bit what it might look like if somebody does that, right? We'll have them call
Hopefully
you
so.
if they're actually moving. You can walk them through the process. That can be your job in England, get people from America over to England. Since you have to give up that professional athlete
That's right.
job of yours,
Right.
you have to come up with something else to do.
Yes. To fill out my time. Exactly.
All right, I
Yes.
have a couple of quick, I call them final questions for you, just kind of off the top of your head.
Okay.
So, first one, what's your favorite childhood memory?
Oh, goodness. So, oh my goodness, that is a good one. So, favorite childhood memory, I would say I remember when my brother was born. That was, and it was my
Oh,
first memory at age 4. I
oh,
remember peeking in, being the height of the window in the living room, peeking in and seeing his little face.
oh, and there he
So,
was. That's a good one.
yeah,
It's a good one.
yeah.
Where is one place that you have always dreamed of going? No, fair to say London, because you get to go there. No, and you've been there.
Switzerland.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
close in your future, I think. I
Yes,
think you can go
yes,
there soon.
yes.
If you started a business, what would it be?
So yes, this England, one thing we found a little less sort of juice and salad bars. So I
Oh,
would
okay.
start one there so we can get some healthy food in our
Okay.
systems.
No
Yeah.
crisps and or what are the French fries? Crisps, is that what they call them? Or is that potato chips?
Chips.
Chips.
So fish
Okay.
and chips. So chips or fries. Yeah. And crisps are potato chips.
So you're gonna have to look into some greens and grains, right?
Yeah.
Make them
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
healthier. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
What is a movie that you could watch every single day?
Father of the Bride.
Oh, it's a good one. But have you watched it with your kids? Because we watched it with our kids, and I was remembering it from when I was like 12, and like halfway through, I was like, oh, like just the way that they say things and that, and I'm like, oh,
Yes.
this is very 90s. We don't call people stupid idiots, or or like whatever it
Yes.
is. But
Yeah.
such a good
Yeah.
one. Such a
It's
good one.
fantastic. And, Frank is just fabulous
I
as Martin
mean,
Short.
isn't
So,
he? Just with the bong, Frank with the
yes.
bong.
Yes.
But I saw
Yes.
a meme, I think, on the internet, and it was like Steve Martin and Diane Keaton, I think, at the time were supposed to be like 43 years old. I was like, oh, okay. It was like, this is what they looked like. And
Fully Gray.
oh,
Can
fully
you?
gray. They looked like old people. And I was like, well, okay. But right. And Kimberly Paisley, like, we loved her. Such a
Yes.
good movie. Good one.
She's
Um,
fabulous.
what is your all-time favorite food?
Mexican food from LA, which is hard to get. So burritos from like a
Okay.
divey Mexican
Oh,
place.
yeah. And how about those chips?
Yeah.
Do they have those really good chips
Oh,
there too? Like
yeah.
warm and yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're going to be
Yeah.
further away from that.
Yeah.
You can go to Spain and get some like real Spanish food instead. How about that?
There you go. There
That'll
you
be
go.
your thing. I just asked that same question. What's your least favorite emotion?
Boredness. Can we count that as an
Oh,
emotion?
sure.
I think
Yes.
because when you're a mom or ennui, I guess you could call it if you need it to be an emotion. It just, I feel like, I keep saying to my kids, get up and find something to do.
Find something to do.
Being bored is for boring people. There's the whole world out there.
Do you find I say this to my kids all the time because they were pretty little, so they don't remember, but I said to my husband just yesterday when I was telling my children, go find something to do. I said, I feel like since COVID, I could be in my house for a week or two and not be bored. Where before you felt like, oh, I have to get out, I have to get out. I'm like, I mean, probably by the end of it, I'd be getting a little stir crazy, but I'm like, I could be very happy at home for many days. I think just because we were home for so long. Like, have you seen that change in yourself?
Yeah.
Or,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it was like
Oh,
we
yeah.
all we were home for months and months. And I'm like, home for 3 days sounds great. Like, now I'm like, that actually sounds kind of great. Could we do that? But,
Yeah.
yeah. What brings you the most joy?
Tennis.
Tennis. You're gonna have to find some friends over there and play some tennis.
I
Is it a
know.
big sport
It
anymore?
is. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Which
great.
is
They have
great.
Wimbledon, right? You can go to Wimbledon.
Yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
There's another adventure for you.
That was on my list for my husband. I said, I'm not going unless we're going to Wimbledon while
There
we're
you go.
there.
Now
So,
you can go for
yep.
several years in a
Yep.
row.
Yep.
Are you a tea drinker or are you going to have to become one?
I am now actually from these short visits. So
Okay.
tea, yes. And it's quite often offered to you. So you might be 8 cups a day.
So you have to like it no matter what,
Yeah,
right?
you have,
Tell
and you
yourself
have
it's
to take
delicious.
it.
And do
Yes.
they do a lot of coffee over there or it's like tea?
No.
It's all tea. Oh. So
Yeah,
that's kind
not
of
a
like a,
lot.
okay.
Yeah.
Are you a coffee
Yeah.
drinker or no?
I am not. So I'm more
Okay.
of a matcha girl. So
Okay. So you'll be
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
I'll be all right. I don't know about the rest of us, but my husband is
You'll
going
have
to
your tea.
suffer.
And maybe you can go, right? You'd be like, just
Yeah.
send it over from the United
Yeah.
States. Maybe you can go to high tea or something at one of those like fancy places.
Yeah.
And last one, are you like a Royals watcher? Like I would just love to be best friends with Kate Middleton. I think she is so beautiful
Yes,
and so like if you were gonna pick a queen, would you not just pick her? Like, yes, you match.
100%.
So do you have big plans to become best friends with her? And can I come for tea when you become best friends with her? Can we all be best friends with Kate Middleton? We all have kids. See, I mean, yeah, will you go and
Right?
do like the whole palace and the whole, I just think that's so
Oh
fun.
yeah. Oh yeah. And I love that they have kids that are sort of my kids' ages. And so
Right?
it's a much more
Friends.
relevant. And then little known fact, my brother-in-law went to St. Andrews for his master's degree with
Oh.
Kate and William.
Oh. So you are
So
going to dinner in the palace.
they there was no interaction, but they were all on campus
But
at the
they were
same
in the
time.
same area. Okay, that's
So
more than
yeah.
I can say. Okay. I wonder if they're like kind of hidden, like I don't know, like how we're all waiting for Taylor Swift to like step out of her apartment in New York. Like I wonder if
Yes.
they're more kind of hidden away or if they're kind of like spotted around town. When you're just hanging out in London, you can just keep your
Yes.
eyes open drinking tea for Kate and then just, hey, best friend.
See
And
what happens.
yeah, you never
Yeah.
know.
She's
Okay.
amazing and she always looks perfect.
I
So,
mean, she truly does. So I think you should just say, I have kids, you have kids. It's a friendship. That's for sure.
yep. Yep. Done.
Well,
That's
Amy,
the plan.
that's the plan. Okay, keep me posted on that one. This episode was such a powerful reminder that motherhood often includes being the one who carries the invisible logistics of change, not just emotionally, as we discussed at length, but also practically. And to anybody listening who is in this season of transition, big or small, or whether you are moving or you're thinking of moving or your life is changing in some other way, I hope that this conversation reminds you that starting over can feel messy, but also kind of, for lack of a better word, beautiful at the same time.
Mhm.
And Amy, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and letting us walk with you in this chapter. And you had mentioned perhaps next year we'll have a little check-in. You can come and join me with an accent next time. Come with your British accent and we'll check in and we'll see how it's going. We'll follow up on all these questions. And to our listeners, thank you for being here. If this episode resonated with you, please follow, share, and leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can follow along on Instagram and Facebook at Mom's Work Podcast for more conversations like this. Amy, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It was wonderful. Have a wonderful new journey and adventure ahead.
Thank you.